Hi, it's Danny. Welcome to this video, welcome to this channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. Deep gratitude to you for joining me today. So what are we doing today? Why is your face on camera? Well, we're here to talk about Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 1. Okay, so let me give a disclaimer. I have not read not one Stephen King book. And I'm an avid reader. I love thrillers, but I've never been a horror type of person, which is funny because I could tell you that I've seen damn near every Stephen King movie or movie that is based on his novels throughout my entire life. We're talking freaking Carrie, Christine. Was Rosemary's Baby his? I don't think Rosemary's Baby was his, but It, like the 1980s version, I haven't watched like the recent iterations of It. So it's really funny that I would pick this show to talk about because this is a prequel to Stephen King's, or the movie iterations of Stephen King's It. And so we're going to talk about this episode and this season, and I'm going to do like recaps, reactions, reviews. I'm just playing catch up because the show premiered October 30th. I believe it was Halloween. October 31st. I believe it was Halloween when the show premiered, and I have been watching as they've been airing, or like within the week of when it airs on HBO. And I just haven't reviewed anything because I had to do like the video saying, hey, where have I been, what's going on, and what's the future of the channel. And I also wanted to record the my planner video so that you could see what I'm working with. So I'm not, just so you know, for people who are here for my planner content, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do planner content stuff. I am. I just want to also branch out to all this because I really want to talk about like people who don't really like scary stuff, but they're watching scary stuff like myself, and tell me what you think. So let's freaking talk about it, because like, yeah. Anyhow, so Season 1, Episode 1, the episode's called The Pilot. So to start, we hear the screen, we don't even get like an intro yet. So it starts off, we're in a theater, we hear a chant of trouble, 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 trouble. But what's on the TV is, or it's in the movie theater on the screen is like the Music Man. Now, I didn't know it was the Music Man until like way later in the episode when they mention it, but it's it's kind of a, what do they call it? Not a Peter Piper. Is it Peter Piper? Or who was the guy who, Pied Piper. Pied Piper. So the Pied Piper, the legend of the Pied Piper, or the fairy tale, the folklore of the Pied Piper, was this mysterious man comes into the town, manipulates the parents, and lures the children out of the town to like kill them. That's the Pied Piper reference, which was interesting that R. Kelly called himself the Pied Piper of music. The Pied Piper of R&B. That's what he used to call himself. He was telling on, listen, just so you know, people will always freaking tell on themselves. Let's just throw that out there. But anyhow, so let's go back to the Music Man. This is what's playing on the theater, in the movie theater when the episode opens. And so we're like going through it starts with us, the camera looking at the screen, and trouble, trouble, trouble. The Pied Piper is telling the like audience like, hey, your kids are in danger, your kids are in danger. Well, the camera pans to the audience and you see like just like a bunch of white people from the 60s, and it zooms in on this young man with bruises on his face. He also has a pacifier, so I'm not gonna call him wee woody baby, but his name is Matt. We don't know that now. So he's sucking on a pacifier with a big ass bruise on his like freaking, I think it was his right eye, what have you. Flash forward, top flight security, Mr. fucking, Mr. Usher man, not Usher the singer, but Usher the usher, talking about, hey you, and the kid just takes off running. He's running, the usher runs after him, and the usher runs into a let's say it, handsome black man with like stuff and shit in his hand. I assume he works there. And the usher man is like, hey, did you see the little kid? And Hank, the sexy black man holding the shit in his hand, his name is Hank, and he's just like, nah. He points to the little girl. Oh, another thing, as the little boy ran out of the theater, you saw a close-up of a little girl sucking on two lollipops. She was a little black girl with a little cute fro, a little light-skinned beauty. Well, the dad, Hank, he's her dad. He's like, hey, Ronnie, the little girl, black little girl with the afro. Hey, did you see anybody pass by? She glances over, and behind the, you know, the cutouts that they would have in movie theaters is young pacifier Maddie, like looking at the girl like, please do not tell on me. She looks at him, they look at each other, they have a moment, and she's like, yeah, he ran the opposite direction. So she points it to the back of the theater as opposed to the front of the theater, which is where they were located. So the usher man takes off running, even though Hank is like, yo, chill the fuck out. Calm down, is this a child? And Hank is like, hey, Ronnie, let's go about our business. Let's hang out or whatever. So they walk off. The little girl, Ronnie, makes eye contact with Matt one more time and then walks off with her dad. So Matt, thinking that the coast is clear, pops himself out from behind the little cutout, and then the usher comes back magically and is like, hey, chases the little boy out of the theater from the front of the whatchamacallit, saying he's gonna call the cops on this little boy. Mind you, Hank told us that the little boy is having a hard time, and anybody can tell you that he's like, he couldn't be older than 12 years old. Puberty has not hit for him. He's sucking on a pacifier and he has a black eye. Obviously the knife is not good for him. Outside the theater, the little boy is like walking in the snow with the pacifier in his mouth, breaking my heart. He's by himself in the dead of night with his thumb out, freaking hitchhiking. And I'm like, look at, I am so upset. He's hitchhiking and I'm like, oh my God, this is a bad idea. He's sticking his thumb out. First car passes him by. You know that person's a good person. Not a good person because like there's a child in need, call the cops or get the kid into your car, take him to the police station, but he drives past the little kid. So we know he's not on some BS. Anyhow, the next car that pulls up is a lovely white family, a little Caucasian family. Mom, dad. Mom hairs are fully coiffed with those little hats that they wore in the 60s. Dad with glasses like mine, fucking the Buddy Holly glasses, talking about, hey young man, where are you heading? And the kid's like, take me anywhere but Derry. And they're like, get on in. Kid gets on in. There is a young lady in the back, maybe 14, 15 years old, looking like Wednesday Addams, giving Wednesday Addams vibes without the charm, holy diver. And then there's this little kid on the other side, sitting behind the dad, little weirdo. Already when old boy got into the car, I'm like, ooh, this is not good, just based on that little kid sitting behind his dad. Anyhow, they have the radio going, and the radio is talking about like what's going to be the Cuban Missile Crisis, the rush to arms that happened in the early 60s when JFK was managing that crisis, or the start of that crisis, because it's, oh, I should have mentioned that, oh, we don't know the date yet. We don't know the date yet, but we could tell it's the 60s. And given the context of what they're talking about on the radio, obviously it's before the Cuban crisis. So, not obvious, but if you know a little bit about American history, that's where we're at. So I was kind of like, oh, so they're definitely in the 60s, not just by the outfit, but they're talking about the political stuff behind what's going on, which is a very interesting, it's actually necessary when we think of the other plot points of this show. So as the announcer is talking on the radio, the little kid starts like doing some spelling thing, like he's spelling out words, and the mom's like, oh yes, our son's a little strange. No shit, our son is a little strange. He likes to spell. And the mom and dad are like, hee. And as the little kid is spelling random words that are spoken from the radio, the little girl, little Wednesday Addams, pulls out a jar of liver from the bag in front of her feet. Now, I don't know white cuisine, because as you could tell, I am blackity black. I am a Haitian American, first gen. I don't know about liver made like that. And trust, I love liver, but I don't know liver that was made like that, because that looked raw. Not only did it look raw, but it was like in some red liquid, viscous red liquid that I suspect is blood. Why, oh girl, sticks her paws in that? And at this point, little boy starts trying to spell trouble. He spelled every other word perfectly, but trouble is giving him trouble. So he's stuttering over trouble. She sticks her paws in the fucking blood, let's be honest, it's blood, and starts putting it in young Maddie fucking pacifier's face, talking about, kind of smell this, kind of put it in your mouth. I don't know what she was trying to do. Either smell it, put it in his mouth. She was right here with it. He was just like, what? Like, he's trying to press himself against the door to get away from her fingers. And her brother, weirdo, is trying to spell trouble. He keeps spelling trouble. She bugs out. She's like, it's spelled da-da-da-da-da. She like snaps on him. Parents start laughing. And she's like, yeah, I know how to spell trouble. And I like trouble. And she looks at the young man, Maddie, and she's like, but I like to be nice. Or she says something like that. She says some weird, flirty, sexual stuff that she should not be saying. One, because of her age. Calm down, little girl, calm down. And two, because her parents are right there. And then the parents, hearing her flirt with this child, talking about, oh yeah, no, the dad said something about, oh no, the mom said something about she a hoe from different area codes, and the dad's like, reminds me of her mother, and they all start laughing, and Maddie's like, oh no, this is not for me. Maddie's like, you know what, get me the hell out of here. And mind you, the kid starts, I don't know what comes first, but the kid is the weirdo on the other side, starts spelling more things, like, the mom's like, oh, spell vasectomy. What? And then the kid starts spelling vasectomy, spell corpse, spell strangulation, spell kidnap. And that's when young Maddie was like, oh no, I gotta get the hell out of here. He's like, hey, could you pull over? Dad's ignoring him. Dad's talking about God knows what, probably how his mom's a hoochie mama, and how he got up in them guts. Mom's telling the kid to spell. Then they start like, he's like, I want to get out. Maddie says, I want to get out. And then they start all chanting. Kid spells out. They all start shouting out. Maddie tries to grab the freaking wheel, and he accidentally, as they're like, swerve when you drive. Anybody watches AEW? Swerve when you drive. So when they're starting swerving, freaking, he accidentally hits the mom's belly. Now, I didn't notice previously is that old girl is pregnant. Actually, when she spelled vasectomy, she said, oh, vasectomy is what your dad got after he impregnated me with this baby. He. And that's when the kids started spelling vasectomy. So Maddie accidentally hits the stomach, and they start chanting out. They have this scary birthing scene. Like, if like, I don't know, if mass media is trying to encourage young people to have babies, this scene is not it, because this was the most grossest, vilest thing I've ever seen. And let me preface this, I've never given birth, thank God, so I don't know how accurate this looks, but this was terrifying for me. This was terrifying for me on all kinds of levels, including my childish wonder. Like, I was like, oh my God, it was just disgusting. And she didn't even, the baby just came through, right? And it was bloody and disgusting. Whatever pops out of her hoo-ha lands between her feet. The Maddie pulls back like, what the hell? And the family is in awe, like, oh, the baby. And mom reaches down to be like, come welcome your family. What flies out hits the back of the car. Maddie's bugging out because it flew. Whatever the baby was flew. And then we see, and the music, the crescendoing, we're freaking out. Suddenly we see an eyeless creature with like a thing on it and some wings and blood. Freaking the umbilical cord, which is like cording. Here's my thing. I could have sworn, I feel like an umbilical cord in real life would be shorter than this. This was like a 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet long situation. Ew. So the baby starts flying around, flapping around, and then it attacks Maddie. And we don't see this happen. What we see as the car passes over a bridge, the pacifier gets knocked out of the window. We don't see Maddie, we don't see the family, but the pacifier gets knocked out of the window in slow motion, lands in the river, and passes the drain. And then we see the opening credits. Welcome to, like, it pops up the way we see it in like the 2020 or the 2017 version of it. It just rolls up through the water, and we see welcome to Derry. That's how they started the show. And I was just like, oh God. I kind of wanted to stop right there. But I was like, you know what, let's keep going. So the next scene, the scary birthing scene, blah, blah, blah. The next scene, it shows the date, April 1962, 4 months later. So this is 4 months after we see Maddie's pacifier land in the river. So we see this little boy looking at the sky, looking through his telescope. This little kid looks like Andrew Schultz, the comedian. Anyone know Andrew Schultz? Yeah, what a fall from grace. I digress. But this little kid looks like Andrew Schultz. So, and I never really got his name. I think his name is Phil, but I'm gonna call him Schultzy because he looks like Andrew Schultz. Anyhow, so Andrew Schultz looking at the whatchamacallit, looking outside, all into the alien shit. He runs out of his house. Next scene is Chocolate Daddy and his boy toy. Now, oh gosh, I'm gonna get the names. I really will. Technically, I should have gotten the names before I started this, but there is a Air Force man, and I'm gonna call him Chocolate Daddy because he's fine as a mofo. He comes out of the plane. He has like a little Padawan learner, I guess his ride or die. I'm gonna call him his boy toy because the way little man's roll for his road dog is crazy. They're on the Air Force base in Derry, or I guess it's the Air Force base not too far from Derry, and as they're getting the tour around, because apparently they're newly acquired or like this is their new command, they're getting a tour around base. They see like an area that is like for authorized personnel only, so you know something going down yonder. Oh, boy toy pointed it out, like, what's that about? Like, obviously it says restricted. Like, why would you ask that on an Air Force base? I digress. So they're being driven around. The tour guide was like, I guess, a general, not the main general, who I know the name of, so don't worry about that. And then there's this other black man, this dark-skinned black man, who keeps giving the other Chocolate Daddy a side eye. Like, he keeps looking at him, and the way they're looking at each other was wasn't on some like, oh, we black, we're right here with each other. It was something else in the way they were looking at each other. Don't know what, but we will find out in subsequent episodes. Oh, he talks about his Chocolate Daddy, lets us know that he's married. And he's staying on base until his wife and his rental property is secured. The next scene is the high school. And we see a lot of images of turtles, which is a part of the It lore, or even just the Stephen King lore, I think. So we see this young girl looking like freaking, I want to say a young Winona Ryder. Just a little bit. She looks like a little young Winona Ryder. She's walking through the hallway, and as she's walking through the hallway, every mother is looking at her like she's on some crazy. They're looking at her like she about to go. What did Tom Cruise say? I'm not gonna freak out. They're looking at her like she about to freak out. She gets to her locker, opens it, and a jar of pickles falls out. Now, when she was walking down the hallway, noticing everybody staring at her, she was on the verge of tears. Old girl looked like she's about to have a breakdown. Her friend, let's call her Bug Eyes. Ugh, I know, very rude of me to say, given what happens to her later. But little girl with glasses, on her Lisa Loeb, rolls up and says, oh, those bastards, and let them judge you, and da-da-da-da-da, and just trying to be like a cheerleader for her Winona Ryder friend who looks like she's about to bawl. So and she said something about liking the smell of pickles, which I enjoy the smell of pickles. She also mentioned her new glasses, which she worries gives her bug eyes. But we see Andrew Schultz, he's worried about aliens, and we meet his friend Teddy with the curls, Cutie Pie with the curls, and they're in school. So Schultz and him are walking down the hall, talking about Schultz is talking about freaking aliens. Teddy, which we find out Teddy's name because on his locker it says, Teddy sucks balls. I'm like, what? They were writing this in the 60s. Man, kids have not changed. So next scene is our Chocolate Daddy and his boy toy going into the hangar to meet, I guess, the people he'll be in charge of. And everyone salutes Chocolate Daddy except for one guy, Masters. His name is Masters. And the reason why I remember that is because, like, for real, y'all, Masters, Massa, like, that's, I feel like that's a little on the nose, because old boy's on his racist. Because, like, when Chocolate Daddy rolls up and he's like, kind of low-key, high-key confronts him, like, yo, you're gonna salute me? And he's like, I'll catch you on the next one, brother. That's what Masters says to him. Old Massa. I'm gonna call him Massa. That's what old Massa said to him. I'm like, oh, word. And then roll up General, or I think he's a general. Yeah, General Shaw, who is in charge of the entire base, rolls up and says, excuse me, sir, what did you say? We salute our upper head people. And so old Massa, old racist ass, finally salutes old boy, and he salutes him back, blah, blah, blah. And then Shaw's like, we don't tolerate that bullshit over here, which is, yes, power to the people. We allies over here. Thank you, Shaw. Thank you, Shaw, for being on some equality. Hello. Like, what the hell? So, we go back to Schulte, and, this is funny to me, because Schulte is outside, I think it was, looking outside his window, freaking looking at his neighbor trying to take off his bra, and all he is talking about is titties. He's only talking, the only thing this boy talks about is titties and aliens, and he's talking about titties. And his friend Teddy with the curls is not about that. He's talking about Maddie, and Maddie, from the opening scene, Mr. Pacifier. He's talking about, like, how sad it is that he's died. Teddy's trying to have, like, a real conversation about grief and loss, and how it's messed up that Maddie died, and that and Schultz is as dismissive as ever. Like, he wasn't really our friend. And Teddy's like, we went to his birthday party, and then it turns out that they were blackmailed to go to Teddy's birthday party. And it doesn't even, not Teddy, Maddie's birthday party. But it sounds like they didn't even want to freaking go. So, and it sounds like they didn't even go. I don't know. But they weren't really friends of his. But Teddy feels guilt about it. And the more Schulte's like, yo, let it go, we weren't his friend, blah, blah, blah. Teddy's like on some, like, well, it's sad and I'm upset, but it's alluded to by and Teddy runs out of the room. But it's alluded to that it's believed that Maddie is dead. Teddy believes that Maddie is a runaway, and Schulte believes that Maddie's dead. So, oh, because there was no body. And so that's why Teddy thinks that Maddie has ran away. Next scene is, oh, Lydia. Lydia is old Renata Ryder girl. So we see old Lydia in her bathroom, like, pulling back her hair. And it's so weird because what we see is her looking upset as she's pulling up her hair, and what the mirror shows is her actually smiling and being happy, not even wearing the same outfit, because real life Lydia in her bathroom is wearing a robe. The reflection shows her in a pink sweater, smiling like she doesn't have a care in the world. And old girl is like, starts looking at the charm bracelet that she has, which shows a turtle, again with the turtle imagery. And she flashbacks to how she got the turtle charm on her charm bracelet. And it's her and Maddie going up to the clock tower. That's what I neglected to mention. When we first saw Schulte, he was in the tower that can see over Derry. So she is walking up the stairs to the clock tower. Maddie's like talking about his friendship with Schulte and Teddy, like they're the bestest of besties. Mind you, we just found out that Schulte and Teddy did not fool Allah with Maddie like that, but he's making it seem like he's popular, he has friends, he's well adjusted, all these things, as he's showing her this beautiful tower. He's making it real romantic, and you know he's trying to impress her because his toys were out, and he kind of knocked them back, knocked them away so that she didn't see it. And she's like, oh, it's beautiful. And they sit down around the fire and they start talking about like how her dad died, and we learn why there's like a pickle thing. So her and her mom went to pick up her dad at the power plant, and the power plant is, I think the power plant is important to the lore, but or there's something about the power plant that we need to know about later on. But anyhow, so they go to pick up her dad, she accidentally left a toy or something in his office. So when they're about to leave, she says that to the dad. The dad's like, oh, okay, I'll go get it. He runs and goes to get it. And it turns out that there was something wrong with one of the machines as he's passing by. He's like, oh, I can fix it. So he jumps into the machine to fix it. The foreman or somebody didn't know that old boy was in the machine, turns it on, and promptly murders her father. And she, high key, low key, and all keys, blames herself for her dad's passing. And she's on the verge of tears, crying. We learned that, so yeah, she's on the verge of tears, crying to Maddie about this. And Maddie's like, I'm so sorry, and da-da-da-da-da. And somehow Maddie parlays this, them getting vulnerable with each other as a means to try to lay a kiss on old girl. And she's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh no, they pop up in their, I forgot what they got it, but they got like a toys, like they open their toys after they share the story. She gets a rocket and he gets a little turtle. And so she's like, oh man, I always get rockets. And he's like, well, we could trade. And, you know, he's being a gentleman. Like, Maddie's a sweetie. He's a sweet, sweet kid. He tries to make it a moment of romance. He tries to lean in and kiss old girl. And she's like, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. I just see you as a friend. And he's like, oh shit. So he scoops up his shit and runs out. And she's like, wait, wait. And that's the last time she sees him. So she's sitting at the edge of her tub, thinking about her dead daddy, thinking about that charm bracelet, thinking about the last time she saw her, what it seems like her actual friend. I mean, granted, he was trying to lay them lips on her lips, so he wasn't really a friend. But they at least he felt comfortable being vulnerable with him. So obviously they had a connection. And so she's sitting there feeling guilty. Suddenly, trouble. What? She looks over at the drain, and she's like, Maddie? And he's just like, trouble, 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 talking to old girl through the drain. Now, I did not write down what he said to her. Oh God, I did not write down what he said to her, but ultimately his fingers, his dirty ass, maybe bloody fingers popped up out of the drain trying to reach up after her, and she's not as alarmed as she should be. I mean, she was, but she wasn't. I feel like if I heard voices coming from my drain, the way I would have turned on the hottest water and drowned that bitch. I don't give a fuck. The only way I would not drown that whoever was talking to me, like, first off, I don't feel like my sister, like, people, I'm thinking about who I would love, who I wouldn't automatically drown if I heard their voice coming out my drain. And I feel like I would do that for everybody, because you want some ghost shit, and I don't fool la la. That's the Asian in me. I don't fool la la with some ghost shit. Before that happens, where Maddie's fingers comes up, I'm sorry, her mom knocks on the door. She opens it up and says, oh, make sure you lay out your clothes for tomorrow. And it turns out that the mom wants to visit the dad's grave, and the little girl was like, if it's all the same, I don't want to do that. And mom's like, well, you're not the only one who lost him. I'm like, you're her mother. You're in charge of how she processes her grief. What? And the mom is stoic as hell, and we learn why in a future episode, but like, stoic as hell, unempathetic, just like, well, you're not the only one who lost somebody. You forgot your job? You're talking to your child. You made her. She didn't make you, but I digress. So the mom leaves in a huff and a puff, closes the door behind her, and that's when Maddie's fingers and trouble comes out of the drain, and old girl is not alarmed as she should be. So next scene. Also that happened, her scene with Maddie happened in the day before, it was New Year's Eve, so there were fireworks. The fireworks is what made it a little bit more romantic, and that's when old Maddie tried to lay them lips on her. She was like, oh, pump your brakes. So we know that that was definitely 4 months. That was pretty much probably close to the night he disappeared, was the last time she saw him. So that adds an extra element of guilt to Maddie's disappearance, because she rejected him the last time she saw him alive. So terrible. The next scene, Schultze and Teddy on their bikes heading to the tower, and of course Schultze is talking about like aliens, and this is the only time Schultze is ever right. He's talking about like there could be aliens. Yeah, bro, you actually nail on the head. So they run into Lily, old Lydia. No, I'm confusing everybody, but her name is Lily, and she's sitting outside the tower, and she tells them what she discovered, which is Maddie might be caught up in the drains, because that's what she saw last night. And now we learn from Schultz that, or Phil, Lily has a reputation for being a little cuckoo. She had to stay in Juniper Mental Hospital, which is a renowned hospital within Stephen King's lore. Like, he uses that and references that hospital all the time in his novels. She had to stay over there after her dad died because grief is horrible, you know. So they don't really believe her. Teddy is more amenable to believing her, but Schultz is like, absolutely not. This heifer's crazy. They also let her know that they weren't that close to Maddie at all. And she was just like, oh, well, he was lying to all of us, which is sadder. It makes it sadder that he had to lie. And so between Schultz and Teddy have a conversation about, like, we need to get this crazy around here because we don't want to end up like her at the mental hospital. And they pretty much told her, we don't believe you. Yeah, go with God. And so she leaves in a huff. Not even a huff, but she's sad and she leaves. Next scene are in Curly's house, Teddy's house. And we discover that Curly is Jewish. They're having a Jewish dinner. They have the prayers and everything. The food looks good. That matzo ball soup, though, oh, I'm so hungry right now. Teddy kind of out of nowhere, over family dinner, after prayers, asks about, like, kidnapping and just, like, brings up true crime and what could happen if a body is, like, or what have you. He asks his dad, and his dad turns, let's be honest, he turns a little violent. He waves a comic book like, get your head out of fantasy, be worried about what's really happening in the world. He throws some cause guilt on that ass, talking about we know suffering better than anybody and how, like, just bugs the hell out and throws his comic book across the room just on some abusive stuff. Daddy is not okay. So, he mentions how that Jewish people in the Jews in the concentration camps were turned into lampshades. This is historical fact. The bleeps skin, it's disgusting. It's disgusting behavior to do to another human being, but they turned him into lampshades. And later on that night, as Teddy's trying to fall asleep, and it was a weird sequence because I thought he was still in the same room with his brother, but he's not. But the lamp keeps going off and on as he's trying to read comics. It turns off and on, off and on, off and on. And the music gets real weird with it. So I knew at that point I need to cover my eyes. He turns it off one last time. It turns back on. And then we see it's a lamp made of skin, of human skin. And Teddy bugs the out, obviously. The proper response to your lamp turning into human skin that is talking to you, like it had a face and everything, and he's just like, he jumps out of the bed screaming, covering his eyes. The lamp falls onto the table, rolls towards him as if it's about to eat him, and suddenly the lamp is gone. Everything's back to normal. His brother opens the door and he's just like, I can't believe I'm related to you, and shuts the door. And Teddy's reeling like, holy diver, what in the hell just happened? We see Curly in the watchtower, or the tower, vomiting his brains out, describing to Schultz what the hell he saw last night. And Lily is like, so you believe me? And and Schultz is like, I will believe Teddy on everything. He knows when he lies. Kid's not lying. This is messed up. We have to figure out what's happening, because obviously Maddie's still alive. The lampshade sounded like Maddie or something like that, so they think Maddie's still alive, and they they figured out that they need to go talk to Ronnie, because they went to the library. They went to the library to find out information about Maddie's disappearance. And they mentioned that one of the last people to see him alive was a young girl of 12 who worked at the theater. They know who that is. At least Lily knows who that is. She knows that's Ronnie. So they wander over to Ronnie's house, and Ronnie's like, get the hell out of here. You know how many times the police came over to question my dad about that kid's disappearance? Mind you, they should have been talking to that usher, because that usher was on some rah-rah yelling, saying, I'm gonna call the cops. Like, there was obviously animosity there. Like, he's been trying to get this kid. Why are they going to the black man? Oh, I don't know. Racism. It was 1962. They're in Maine. And I don't know if y'all know about New England. If y'all don't know, it is caucasity all the way. I'm talking in New England, for those of you who are international. Hi, y'all. Hi. I want to visit your country. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. This is the New England area of the United States. And I'll tell you this from personal experience, having lived in Connecticut for 3 years and visited Massachusetts, Rhode Island, a little bit of Maine. It is the whitest area you'll ever find in the United States. White. So yes, the cops are going after Hank, who works at the movie theater, instead of the usher, the white usher, who was terrorizing that young man. So Ronnie's like, get the hell out of here. You're trying to pin it on my dad. You could go kick rocks without shoes. And as she goes up the stairs, she tells them off. She goes up the stairs. Ronnie goes up the stairs. The kids are walking away talking about, like, you know, something, the song that Maddie sang. Ronnie stops and she's like, what did you say? And Lily's like, well, we heard Maddie singing. I heard Maddie singing a song. And the girl's like, what song? Then next scene, we see her chocolate daddy, the Air Force chocolate daddy. He's in his bed. He's looking at a picture of his wife and child. He's reminiscing, loving on his, like, you know, fantasizing about his family being there while he's in this, the barracks. And you see in the background of his window some cuckoo looking with a gas mask. And you're like, oh God. And suddenly a bunch of guys in gas masks come through. There's one with a pipe, one with a gun, and one standing to the side. They're beating his ass. And he's just kind of taking it. He kind of fights. But I feel like this sexual chocolate could have won 1.5 of them. But he was getting ATL stomped. They pull a gun on him. Mind you, he keeps looking at the guy standing to the left, not involved in any of the beatdown. He's just watching him because they're having some kind of connection. A very interesting connection happening. He can't see the guy who's standing to the side because he has a gas mask on. All of them have a gas mask on. But he's just staring at him like, huh. Like they're looking at each other like they're having a moment. And suddenly, the door starts banging. Old boy's ride or die, his freaking lover boy, breaks down the door. Mind you, now I call him a lover boy and I keep referring to him like this because old man is a short king. He is 5'5" to old boy 6'2". You can't tell me different. He little. But don't you know he was flying around like a freaking monkey? He was fucking Krav Maga, like just bopping him upside the head. He runs them out. And Sexual Chocolate, I'll have his name for the next episode, I apologize, but Sexy is kind of like, huh, he's just taking the information in, kind of unfazed, kind of creepy. Next scene, we see the little kids rolling up to the movie theater, because Ronnie's just like, Trouble, which is the song that Maddie was singing to Lily, and apparently Ronnie heard it too. We didn't see the scene where Ronnie heard trouble. She just told us, the audience, and the kids, our little crew, our little Scooby gang, that yeah, Maddie sang that to her too. It's from The Music Man, the musical that we saw at the beginning of the episode, and let's watch it. Maybe there's clues in that. So Ronnie, on her projector bag, on her I'm a movie bae bag, goes upstairs, puts on the projector, the kids go down, and mind you, I forgot to mention, Phil brought his little sister. Schultze brought his little sister, who was also with them in the library while they're trying to figure out the clues as to who saw Maddie last. Anyhow, they go into the movie theater, they sit down, and Ronnie puts on the projector, and she fast forwards it to the scene where the scene that we saw Maddie watching at the beginning of the episode. And as the audience, so the scene is very weird because the Pied Piper is in the middle of the town square. There's a statue behind him, and there's like a family all like parents all around him. As the camera's panning, and this is the movie, as the movie camera is panning along the audience that's listening to the Pied Piper talk his bullshit about trouble, we see the family that was in the car with Maddie, and Maddie in the movie holding a swaddled baby. Now, when I saw this, if I was by myself when I was watching it, I would have hit pause and been like, oh God, no, oh God, no, oh God, God, no. I would have said no. But I kept watching. And they're like, wait a minute, is that Maddie? Is that Maddie? And they're like, they start screaming at the screen, Maddie, Maddie, we're here. You know, we're here for you. We love you. Like, just saying, Maddie, come through. We miss you. And Maddie's like, no, you didn't. You didn't give a fuck about me. And they're like, what? And then Maddie, like, the screen starts going black behind Maddie. Maddie does, and if you are familiar with it, you know that lean forward where all you see is like, you know what it is. You know who this is. It ain't Maddie. Holding the baby, and you see the teeth and the smile, and he smiles with this creepy smile at the camera, and then throws the baby at the camera. The baby flies through the projector, the screen, and it's that terrible baby without the umbilical cord just flying around the movie theater. Now, this scene is horrifying because I did not expect this. I thought we had our Scooby Gang, because the way this winged creature, and it had like a side head and it had no eyes, was just flying around. He got the boys, I'm talking Schultze, got spun in the air, thrown to the window where the projector area is, terrifies Ronnie. Ronnie is screaming. Mind you, Ronnie in the projector room, there's a bunch of poltergeist happening, the windows close, the door gets locked, she's bugging out like, what the fuck? She saw the face hit that window like, oh my God. She tries to get out, can't get out, locked in. She grabs a hammer, cracks that window. I'm like, yes queen, crack that bitch, crack that. I was so happy. I was like, yes, be black in this situation. Try to get out. Thank you. Sorry, Edge. I'm scaring Edge. Get out, girl, get out. Meanwhile, Lily is on the ground. My bitch. She gets on the ground. She's like trying to walk her way out. She sees the little girl, Phil's little sister, Schultze's little sister. They try to reach hands. The baby, having killed Phil by spinning him out, and he like tackled old Curly, R.I.P. Curly. He jumps down on the seat above where Lily and the little sister is, and all we see is him chomp down. Ronnie, being that bitch, rolls through with a hammer, didn't leave her equipment. She rolls through, Lily pops up, and she's like, they hear the creature. They're like, are you okay? What's happened? What happened? What's going on? That was Maddie. They're trying to like, and they're in the theater trying to have this conversation. I'm like, Ronnie, now you're losing points again. What are y'all doing? They hear the creature. They both look. They're like, oh no. They book it out. Ronnie, being that bitch, takes the hammer, locks in the door from swinging open, and Ronnie's like, what the hell happened? That was Maddie. Like, she's trying to piece together the information. Lily is in another world. She is disassociated, covered in her friend's blood. And then she looks down and sees her friend's arm. She screams. Lily screams at the end. And that's how the episode ends. That was the pilot. That was Welcome to Derry. The pilot, season 1, episode 1. What? What did we just watch? And I don't even know if they're taking characters from the book. Yeah, there are taking characters from the book and from Stephen King's lore, but what the hell did I just watch? What? Have to watch. I have to know what happens. And so that is your review. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And it was long-winded. Hopefully I could shorten this up. I take a lot of details, a lot of umming, but we'll get better. We'll get better with time. That's how we do. So Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hype, do as you deem fit. Remember to question everything except your instincts, and I'll be sure to catch you on the flips. Bye.